Candace Owens exposing this story these about this couple, this royal couple in France. Don't make me pronounce these people's name, but you know you going. It's called Becoming Bridget or something. So I watched all three of the episodes, and basically it's this expose Candace Owens is doing on the I'm assuming the current president of France and his partner, who's supposed to be like 39 years his senior, who is allegedly a trans woman. This has so many, like, whenever I process content, and this is fresh because I literally just finished watching it. I ran to the grocery store I went to the market to go and get some vegetables for my road trip. So I went to go and get some fresh vegetables because I want to make like my vegan gumbo tomorrow. Because I have not been like honoring this vegan diet. I've been eating meat in some form, not like no heavy meat, like not like no steak or no goat or no cow or nothing like that. But I've been eating chicken and fish and stuff like that. Like it's been meat here and there. But I've been eating a lot of greens and fruit as well, but that's not what the video is about. Anyway, I do want to bring some fresh vegetables with me to Louisiana. Not to say that they're not there, but it's just a market around the corner that I happen to like. But I'm listening to Candace Owens and listening to like this little army that she's building, and it's not lost on me why and how her rhetoric benefits her. Like, it's not lost on me why Candace Owens talks the way that she talks. Like, if I was just to look at her based on aesthetic, she's a petite woman. Um, and it makes sense that she would want to manipulate the patriarch. Like, she gives me one of those women who is strategic enough to manipulate men, like she knows the game. Like, I'm a petite, I'm a petite dainty girl. I want to be a petite dainty girl. I want to be a petite dainty woman. I don't want to have to fight for myself. I don't want to have to defend myself if it ever came to that. I want to use men as a shield. I want to, she gives me the type of female that would manipulate men and use them as her shield, like use men to defend her. Like, I'm gonna prop you up, I'm gonna stroke your ego, I'm gonna make you feel like you're this and that, and you're gonna do what I want you to do. I'm gonna like it's a strategy. So her rhetoric is not lost on me. Her being Catholic, her praying to Jesus. And it's interesting that she's Catholic and all of this information is coming out about, the Black Madonna and Black Jesus. And, for all intents and purposes, she do look a little bit like the Black Madonna. Like, if we were to do a side by side of Candace Owens and the Black Madonna, she really do give you low key Black Madonna tease. Like, she really do. Like, she's not a bad looking black woman. She's not an ugly black woman by far. But I could just see how the rhetoric kind of works for her, like using this whole ideology of Jesus this and I'm a Christian and like, yeah, I'm gonna work the system in that way. I'm gonna pillow talk these men. I'm gonna, be conservative, be classy, be everything that, a lot of society expects women to be. I'm going to live up to that. And what I expect in return is for you to protect me, for you not to grape me, for you not to mistreat me because I'm honoring you. I'm respecting the patriarchy. So, her rhetoric is not lost on me. And so now that I've grown to that understanding, because I'm about to be 48 years old this year. After this year in 2 years, I'll be 50. So I'm looking at the bigger picture. I'm not looking at the picture from a siloed standpoint where I'm just thinking about how it benefits me, how it affects me. I'm paying attention to how everyone is moving, how it benefits them, why they're making the moves that they're making. And, as long as you don't attack me directly, long as you don't come from me directly, um, like I'm always gonna lead out being respectful. If you ever notice that when I talk about people, I'm not finna drag Candace in this. You notice I'm not dragging her now. But if Candace was to single me out based on this video that I made and do what T.S. Madison did and start talking up under my clothes, then the gloves would be off. But I'm always going to come out when I first talk about someone, or when I first offer pushback or a difference of opinion or something like that. I'm always going to come out and try to play the whole tape and try to put myself in their shoes and see why they talk the way that they talk. So when Candace did this alleged expose on the parents, the president and his wife, who is allegedly the wife is allegedly trans, and a lot of the information seems to add up. It seems to line up. So I'm not gonna say that I don't believe what she's saying is true, because what she's saying could very well be true. One of the things that I would only offer some pushback on is when she made the comment of, they called her transphobic. Well, how can she be transphobic if the person is not trans? First of all, you can say a transphobic statement and a person doesn't have to be trans. Now, from the research that you have gotten and from the way that they're dancing around their responses to you and them not being willing to tell you the truth, from what the story that you're telling me, from the journalism that you discovered, like them dancing around the question, them not answering the question, like you're asking them straightforward questions and they're not giving straightforward answers, I would have to say that it is something funny about the story. But one of the things that you did that was unnecessary was when you said that they said you made a transphobic comment, and you said, how can it be transphobic if the person is not transphobic? That's like saying somebody makes a racist comment or somebody makes a homophobic comment. Is the comment any less homophobic? Is the comment any less racist simply because the person that they were talking to is not black? Is it any less racist? If it was intended, if it sounded racist, it was still racist. If a comment sounds homophobic, it's still homophobic. So the person doesn't have to be what you're accusing them of for the comment to still be homophobic, for the comment to still be transphobic, for the comment to still be racist, for the comment to still be misogynist. Like that's a part that I will offer some pushback with you on. Like, oh well, it can't be transphobic unless the person is transphobic. I'm gonna need you to have a better grasp of what it means to make transphobic comments, or what it means to make homophobic comments, or what it means to make any type of inappropriate comments. But what Candace Owens story brought up for me was, now I'm curious, because I know that historically and in our heritage, um, we oftentimes hear stories about how trans people, or queer people, or two-spirit people, or people who did not subscribe to the binary were they unalive them, they torture them and unalive them. When they would go into, when conquerors would come in to take over villages, they would keep some of the women and breed with some of the women. They would make the men slaves or kill them, and they or unalive them, and then they would often unalive the queer community. They were unalive the ones that did not align with the aesthetic. Like if you were androgynous, or if you were hermaphroditic, if you could not align with the binary system as it was, if you weren't able to fit into that, they would unalive you, because this is not what they need. They need They need studs. They need heifers. They need studs and heifers. They need to be able to breed. And if you are not falling into these gender norms, then it is assumed that you are not going to contribute to what needs to be done, and that is they need a stud and they need a heifer. This reality um, survives off of studs and heifers. In her own way, Candace is a heifer. Candace is pumping them out, and Candace is pumping out babies who will have dual citizenship. They will have citizenship in Europe, and they will have citizenship in London, because that's where the husband is from, and so all the babies are from London. And so I'm assuming that these children are gonna have a dual citizenship, because from what I hear from her conversation is that Candace is always traveling to London. And so in this reality, you need for all intents and purposes, you need a stud and you need a heifer. If the being is queer, then if you got a trans masculine being or you got a trans feminine being, then it's assumed that you cannot stud this, you cannot heifer this. This is not, and also this is not aligning with the system that we're trying to employ, because we don't need people having to think beyond. We don't want people. You're a worker bee. We don't need you to be thinking complex. We don't need for, because then when you start focusing, like when you have society, it's common knowledge, and you're always hearing conversations about intersex beings or hermaphroditic beings. Then gender takes on a whole new meaning, sex takes on a whole new meaning. And when that is at the forefront of the conversation, then we are forced to grapple with the complexities of our existence. And it's not black and white, it's not the rule of dichotomy states. And you don't want your slaves and your servants and the working class, you don't want the masses to have an intellectual prowess that caused them to actually pontificate about the idea that, hey, XY and XX is not the biggest show in town. It's not the only variables in this equation. So that's not when people colonize a society, and when people are creating civilization, they're not creating civilization to have people at their highest, just at their highest capacity. That's not what they're groomed. That's not what you groom society for. You give knowledge to a set few people, you give knowledge to a certain group of people, you make that knowledge available to certain people, you do not allow everybody access to that information. And that's how you begin to gatekeep. That's how you began to create your system of power, where you have levels to it, where you have classes. You know what I'm saying? You want to have classes. You want to have not just classism, but you create this economy, or this society, or this ecosystem where people, a certain class of people just automatically deem themselves to be superior. A certain class of people, because they have access to information, because they have access to resources, they see themselves as superior. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to give more resources and more access to the people who are willing to submit to your version of society. Hey, Aaron, who are willing to submit to your ideologies about society and how you think society should go. They're willing to submit. Doesn't necessarily mean they agree. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're here for it. It just means that They value living, breathing, functioning, being able to have some sense of freedom, some sense of liberation. They value that enough to where they're willing to submit to your expectation of a society and how society wants to live. And so this series with Candace Owens caused me to ask a question that I don't think any of us have ever asked as trans people, and I think are people who could identify with the construct of transness. Because let's be clear, I consider myself to be whole. I am LELIMLELUR. I always say trans is my slave name. And as we get deeper into how they're trying to not only dismantle transgenderism in this country, how they're attacking transgenderism in this country, and how they are rooting it in some type of satanic ritualism of grooming and pedophilic connections, like how they are centering it in that, um it just goes to show you how serious they are about just like poisoning people's minds against trans people, poisoning people's minds against people who do not fall into what we expect the binary to be. And it's so crazy because somebody messaged me yesterday and I deleted their comments and hid them from the channel, but they called me binary sludge. I think that's what they said. They said I was like binary sludge. And of course I said your mammy and your pappy on their page, but when I think about all of the people that I have met that have been some of the greatest avatars and symbolism for the binary, none of them make me feel inferior or make me feel beneath. And I think that there's obviously been a time in my life where I've looked at, natal born females, um, and there was some envy, because I was judging myself based on my physicality and my ability to produce for this plantation and how I could produce. I wanted desperately to be a heifer. I wanted to be a heifer for massa. And there was a period in my life where I cried and I grieved because I could not be a heifer for massa. After I had my surgery, I went through a depression because I could not be a heifer for massa. And but then, thank you, God Goddess, you know, um Laylim found me, and I started practicing wholeness, and I started remembering that I'm soul and flesh. I'm not just flesh, and that my purpose is not invalidated or diminished because I cannot produce for this planet. I cannot produce a physical entity who can come here and bend the knee and works for Massam, like that does not diminish who I am as a being having a human experience because I'm not producing anything to come here and bend the knee ups on the plantation for Massam, a man, a woman. But at one time, I will be honest, especially right after I got my surgery, I felt really, really inadequate. I felt, and as a male, I just always felt like that box was too, being in the man box or being a man. I just always felt like there wasn't enough room in that box for me. I just always felt like there was not enough space. I felt reduced by that space, and I didn't understand why other males will want to reduce themselves in that way. I don't see celebrating my foremothers in addition to, the genitalia that I was born with. I don't see that as a diminishment. I definitely have met some powerful beings who are born with vaginas and who identify with the construct of womanhood, and I've always seen them as powerful. And so my celebration of that, or my connection to that, or my relation to that, for me is not a reduction. It didn't feel like a reduction, but I understand that we live in a patriarchal society, and I understand why it is taught to us. If you are born male, then you should, be ashamed if your connection to your foremothers is overt, because that is you taking a step down. But in society we have this fictitious idea about what it means to be female, what it means to live inside of womanhood. Like womanhood is so much more than is presented to us. It's so much more than we understand. It's so vast, and connecting with that is not shameful, but that is definitely what society will teach you. They will teach you that, females who are women, they are emotional, they are incapable of leading, they're incapable of commanding a situation. But if you are a person who lives in reality, that some of the greatest forces of your childhood were beings who were born with vaginas. They were powerful, and a lot of times they groomed the men as a means of find somebody else to do it. Like, I need you to step up. I need you to take this control. And so that was, what the reality of it was. So, I just have a different outlook, for the women, for the females who identify with womanhood, and either you hate yourself and that's why you reduce your male children who connect with you and celebrate you in their expression. For those of you who hate yourself, I get it. Patriarchy has done a number on you. And then there are those of you who don't hate yourself. There are those of you who feel like, hey, you were created to be a workhorse for me. You have muscles, you have more stamina, you have all this testosterone poisoning. Your pussy fell out. I feel bad for you. Not really. Get out there and get this work done. Fight these wars. Get this bread. And make sure that me and these babies that I done brought here for the plantation is good. So there are a lot of you who have different, and then there are the lesbians who are just bitter and disenchanted, and a lot of times have tunnel vision because they have been alienated by the process. They've been alienated all the way around. And so they just have tunnel vision a lot of times. So you got your lesbians, not all of them, who a lot of times just have tunnel vision. You got your trans masculine beings who have been coveting this opportunity, who saw all of the power that men had, and they want their swing. They was like the Jeffersons. They want their turn at bat and their room on the Upper East Side. Then you got your women who just sincerely just believe that they're inferior to men. They're his rib. They're less than. And then you got your women who just really think that men should be doing all the hard work and men should be out here, busting it and getting on the grind. Like, there's a whole bunch of different reasons. There's a whole bunch of different female variables that identify with the construct of womanhood that help to sustain patriarchy. There's a multitude of XX reasons why patriarchy is able to sustain itself. You got some that look at their children and, deep down inside, there's so much conversations around how girls mature faster than boys. You want to protect girls when it comes to relationships and going outside. But as far as managing their lives, girls tend to be better at managing their lives. But, but mamas know, boys are extremely sensitive, extremely insecure a lot of times, need a lot more nurturing, and they get so much of it up until they're around 13 or 14 years old. Then when they start getting programmed by the brotherhood and the patriarchy, they start rejecting it. And then that's why a lot of times they're not balanced. They don't know how to cry. They don't know how to experience emotions because they've been told that all of the stuff that they did as a boy is embarrassing and shameful, and they have to disconnect with that. And so, still acting like, like we equate the things that you do as a boy because as a boy, it's okay to be more connected to your feminine side. As a boy, it's okay to do things that are considered feminine or womanly. But when you become a man, you don't do none of that. You don't do none of that. You don't do none of that sus, zesty. You don't do none of that. That's out the window when you become a man. But when you're a boy, some sissy like or punkish like behavior expressed publicly is not like people don't really like, they don't really be on you that hard, but they really get on you hard like when you are a grown man. Anyway, getting back to the topic, and I see y'all in the comment section. Hey Erin, hey Anandia. um I want to say that I never thought about this piece to the puzzle. So you think about how when they're creating a society, they will take some of the women and bring them into that society. But also, they used to always, like, there was a time in Roman mythology, even in the empire of Alexander the Great. Because if you're familiar with Alexander the Great, Alexander the Great had a love affair with his best friend who helped him go off to the wars. And Alexander also had a lover in a being who was considered a eunuch, whose name was Bagoas, and Bagoas was a eunuch. So when in certain cultures, if the eunuch or the person that blurred the gender lines, considering what was needed, if they blurred the gender lines in a way where they were passable, in a way that was appealing to the new regime or the new leading power or the conquerors, their lives would be spared. And I'm almost certain that if their lives were spared, then the expectation would be for them to assimilate into the current paradigm, or into the current power structure. So imagine 400 years ago when they first came over here on the slave ships, and then when they got ready to start doing the conquering, and some of the Indian people was here and some of these indigenous people were here. Could you imagine, like, we were taught that they unalived all of them. That's what we're taught. But we know even when we get the truth, we're rarely getting the whole truth. Could you imagine that some of our trans beings, some of our trans masculine beings, and some of our trans feminine beings, some of our intersex beings, some of our beings who were considered two-spirited and were respected elders and guides? Could you imagine some of them who were probably spared because they were attractive in their aesthetic? They looked like there were males who potentially looked more female than male, and they were attractive to these Europeans who had always had a culture of sleeping with males, who had always had a culture of homosexuality. I mean, it dates back to the Roman Empire, so we know that they've been doing it. So would you imagine that when they came over here, that some of them probably took wives? And guess who the wives were? Like, that's what that made me think about. Like, all of them were not killed. All of them were not unalive. Some of them submitted to the binary. Some of our trans ancestors, some of our whole ancestors, some of them signed up for the transness, because the transness is the indicator of, like, that is literally like they're telling you trans in the word. They said that you change from one to another. Now, a lot of us view trans as it's to go from one side to a other. But trans literally just means to change. It doesn't mean it's not always. That's why they put that word gender on the end of the word, to really like cast that spell. Transgender. Like, the word is good enough by itself. It doesn't necessarily need transgender. But like, to really like Europeanize that, to really colonize that, because our ancestors probably did not have a specific it wasn't a specific need for you to be one gender or the other. It was fine for you to exist in one space more dominantly than the other, or to exist in the middle. Let me say that again for some of my slower monitoring spirits. It was an expectation that you would live or exist in one space more dominantly than another, or you would fall somewhere in the middle altogether. But what happens with colonialism is the expectation becomes, you're not going to exist in this space more dominantly than the other. You are going to represent this space. You're going to help to build up this space. You're going to fight for this space. You're going to justify this space. You're going to help to solidify this space. That's how colonization works. Ain't no floating, ain't no movement, ain't no expansion, because that's too much like evolution. Need you to get right in this space, and you could change the hairstyle, you could change the style of the dresses, you could change the style of the nails, you could change the style of the lashes, you could change the brand of makeup, but don't change the recipe for what it means to be a woman that is acceptable in this society. So you could play with the fashion, but don't change the recipe of what it looks like to be a womb manifestation, a woman. So we have to take accountability, and we have to start to process the idea. And what's really brought this home for me is I have to go back to this post that I created, a post acknowledging Flame Monroe in a group, I think it's called Girls Like Us or something like that, and it's like 14,000 pretty face challenge or something like that, and it's like 14,000 members in the group, and the group be pretty busy. But I created a post in the group, and it's amazing how many, people, like some people came and liked it and people came and engaged with the post, but it was amazing how many girls came in the comment section and went to attack and flame and went to like, he's a man in a dress, he's a man in a wig, he ain't no real woman, and da da da. And I'm like, if you read the post, nowhere in the post did I call Flame trans. Nowhere in the post did I say Flame was a woman. And the name of the group itself isn't even called trans. And so the idea that so many people came up under my post and was like, well, why are we celebrating Flame? Like, y'all are not celebrating Flame. I'm celebrating Flame. I respect Flame as an elder person. Like, I don't understand that. Like, I be wanting to believe in the intelligence of my community, but when I make a post and all of y'all get triggered, like, the language was very clear. I made it. It was personal. I would like to acknowledge. And people who were able to connect with the post, they came up under the post and they emojied it. But there was so many girls in the community that has so much to say. She's not a woman. This is a man in a dress. This is a drag queen. That's a man. And da 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 da. And okay, Flame has said that Flame self. So what's the point of repeating something that Flame has already said about themselves? What's the point? Like, Flame has literally said, I'm he, she, we. He get the check. Well, how I go? He get the check. Wait. She get the check. He pay the bills, and we spend it, or something like that. But it's literally a whole system. And so that brings me to this idea, like when I'm watching how certain trans women, and I'm being clear because that's how they identify, have bought into this identity that transness is a monolith and there are certain things you have to do in order to be accepted as a trans person. Like, they're literally trying to create of this cult of femininity that defines being a trans woman. Like, they're literally trying to create a cult to define. Now the cult that you're creating is based off of attributes that come from a certain chromosomal variation blueprint. Like, you're basing who you are off of the genetics of people who are typically born with the XX chromosome. So your personhood and your being is inspired by and a springboard from people who are born with the XX chromosome and some of the attributes that many of them often have. And the funny thing about it is, the beings who are born with the XX chromosome and have the genetics that many of us sacrifice for, work for our whole life, take hormones, take pills, groom ourselves, train ourselves, teach ourselves, make a practice of, go and have surgeries to achieve. Because these beings never have to go through that. Now, a lot of them are groomed too. A lot of them are groomed, and a lot of them give you socially engineered teas as well. A lot of them are groomed. So, hey. So if you come from a family where your mother figure or your aunties or your sisters were heavily groomed, then I get why you may have turned out the way that you did. But for those of us who did not come from a culture where the women in our family weren't heavenly groomed, where the beings in our family that were born with vaginas weren't heavenly groomed, there were certain things that they were taught and certain ways that they maneuvered because they were born with vaginas, certain things that had to be taught to them, but they weren't heavenly groomed. They weren't groomed to put on makeup all the time, to always, when you leave out the house, make sure you have your hair done a certain way, make sure you're dressed a certain way, make sure you look a certain way, make sure you talk a certain way, make sure you act a certain way. Like not all, females who identify with the construct of womanhood were groomed to behave at the expectation of what we celebrate or prize in white stream. Understand me? So and I'm finna get to the comments. But I want to make sure I have all my thoughts out first. So that got me to thinking, like, I definitely believe that, or I definitely feel in my heart, because you want to be careful with that word believe, but I definitely feel in my heart that that some of our ancestors, just like some of our ancestors passed for white, and have supported white supremacy, being white passing. I think that some of our ancestors who have been able to pass, that this has been a part of the equation before this country started. I don't think they unalived all of us. I think that we are as above, so below. And that's what's really coming out for me. And I want to have this idea that, because I look at how black people can be at odds with each other, I look at how black people can go against each other, because every black person didn't automatically say, oh, I'm voting for Kamala. There were black people and gay people who voted for Donald Trump. And there were trans people who voted for Donald Trump. And so if they exist now, they existed back then. And society has become a lot better at the grooming process. Because imagine if you are a part of the bloodline and they need you to fill a certain spot. It's kind of like the clownfish. When the mama dies, somebody else got to step up and be the female. Somebody else got to shapeshift and become the female. So in a royal bloodline, if you trying to keep it in the family, you may use one of your children to fill a certain position. And if the position is female, then if you already got a child over here that's expressing feminine behavior or female behavior, why not just go ahead and completely groom this child so that they can fill that spot? Why not just start the grooming process now? Not to be two-spirit, not to be whole, because that's not colonialism. To go into your side, to go into your slot, so you can serve this matrix. And you might not be able to be no heifer or no stud, but you will definitely be able to moderate and facilitate and make sure that all of the laws and the expectations and the policies and the language and the teachings are being passed down. You definitely got time to do some grooming, because you ain't no stud and you ain't no breeder, but you are a groomer, because you have time to groom. And so a lot of our ancestors who sold into this, who said, you know what, I don't want to die. I ain't gonna stand on my business like that. I want to keep living. I understand what y'all trying to do. I see the society y'all trying to create. And you can see it now today in trans culture. You can see how we are some of the best groomers. Think about it. Just really, really, really think about the trans community and think about how we, oh, girl, you look like a brick. Oh, girl, you need to, girl, not, girl, you need to get on some moans, girl. Da 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 da. That's grooming. Girl, you is clocky, girl. Girl, get your, girl, you need to go and get you some laser done, girl. You is clock box down, girl. You is getting me, girl. Oh my goodness. That is grooming. You're not a woman if you don't get this done. We don't see it for you if you don't get this done. Da 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 da. And women don't act like that. Da, da, da. And the gay men do it to the trans women, the ones that are feminine. The gay men, a lot of the feminine gay men do it to the trans women, and so the trans women are trying to fit into this expectation where they could be accepted by their moms and dads and their families, and also by some of the gay men who don't want to be ashamed to be seen with them because, bitch, you look foolish, bitch, you need to be together, girl. And if you're not together, then, bitch, I'm not finna be walking down the street with you, girl, because you're outing me. Like, I need for you to look good. Like I need to be with a pretty trans woman who fits into the idea of what it means to be trans, so that you don't embarrass me as a gay man when we're in the gay community. I don't want to look crazy around you. So get your shit together. Like you're like because I need my patriarchal privilege. I need to look like, like this man who could pull the pretty women, and who also, I really I don't want them. I don't want nothing to do with them. I really want a man. But you know what I'm saying? A lot of men find that attractive when they see you with a pretty woman. So that make a lot of men want you when they see you with a pretty woman. And so the part of that, like his patriarchal capital, his manhood, his manhood credit, um he need that. So they get it from the gay community, and then they take that back into the trans community, and they act as groomers. A lot of trans peoples who are at the head of the movement and are in these places trying to name what trans, a lot of them that are talking the loudest, they are groomers. And so if we're gonna have the conversation, we have to have an honest conversation. And after I say this, then I'm gonna read the comments, because this really the last piece of what I wanted to say. And I talked about this in my story. Um when you when you try to erase somebody's existence, like, for example, again, a lot of people had a problem with me sharing that post in the group, because none of them really wanted to talk about Flame Monroe, or didn't want to say Flame Monroe's name. And how is that? And for me, how is that any different than MAGA? Like how. And that's where, to me, the Democratic side and the Republican side are not different. They will both lowbrow each other. They will both distort each other's stories. They will both tell half truths about each other. They will not play the whole tape in regards to each other's party. Most times when the Republican Party has something to say about the Democratic Party, it is defamatory. Most times when the Democratic Party has something to say about the Republican Party, it is defamatory. There's rarely occasions, I think I've ever heard any, that the Republican Party or the Democratic Party talks about their opposing party in a way that is commendable or celebratory. And so that logic and that way of navigating society is a norm for us. It's a norm to sit up and badmouth people, to tell only bits and pieces of their story, but yet it's still these same people, my people, black people, my people, black trans people, Oh no. Why are we talking about her? That's a man. That's not. I don't want to. I don't want to discuss that. Why are we talking about that? Black people. Those are all men. They're crazy. They're delusional. And so the hypocrisy is giving very MAGA-ish vibes. It's giving MAGA all around. It's giving all of y'all are MAGA. It's giving the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is MAG and the Democratic Party is GA. It's giving MAGA. It's giving the Republican Party is my, and the Democratic Party is GA. And let's be clear. What is the Democratic Party like when they say make America great again? Does the Democratic Party believe wholeheartedly that America has never been great? Because if the Democratic Party didn't believe that America had been great before, why does the Democratic Party still hold on to the same exact value system for the most part outside of giving trans people some rights? That's the most progressive thing that the Democratic Party has done, and we know the reason why they did that. They did that because it was an opportunity to get more votes and more money. It was not that they legitimately cared about queer people or trans people. The Democratic Party, a lot of them aren't born into as much wealth as the members of the Republican Party. The Republican Party got coins, baby. They got old coins, baby. So the Democratic Party is the type of party where they got to be out. They had Obama during this election raising money for Kamala, asking everybody to donate $5. So it makes sense why the Democratic Party would be open to letting more people tag on to bolster their numbers and to bolster their profits. Like, it's about, okay, we need to tap into these resources because we ain't got old money. We ain't got connections. We ain't got connections in the deep space. In the deep state. Like, we ain't got them type of, like, we ain't got that old money. We can't just call up Elon Musk and be like, hey, we don't have those type of, we don't have Donald Trump coins just laying around amongst us like that. So the Democratic Party gotta be resourceful. They legit gotta be resourceful. Like, so that's the reason why they've allowed the trans community to come sit at the table. But it's not just simply because, oh, we want to help the trans community, oh, we care about the trans community. No, we care about you voting for us, but we still want you to submit to this same America. And so how is, like, the Democratic Party is really like rooting for the same America? It's just allowing more people to sit at the table because the Democratic Party want that money. It want that money. It want those resources. It want all of those resources. It wants all of that money. But it still want America to operate the same way that it always has. We'll throw you a bone. We'll give you a few crumbs to shut you up and get you in line. We might throw you a stipend, but we still gonna do this stuff the way we've been doing it. We ain't doing nothing different. We ain't doing too much different. We'll let y'all have your little gay marriage. We'll let the trans people get their little gender markers changed. In a couple of states, give them a little health care. But at the end of the day, you need to blend in and you need to pipe down. You need to blend in and you need to pipe down and leave all the freaky stuff to us. We gonna be on the islands having the parties and stuff. You better not do it. So I just wanted to give that idea of MAGA, like demagnification, like really like taking the time to demagify yourself. You have to understand, just like this, federal judge who blocked, and helping to hold on to the trans, healthcare for a minute. We have to become more like these judges, and that's why I'm bringing that gavel. That's why I'm gonna start using that gavel. We have to be more like these judges, and we need to, have a mind of playing both sides of the tape, hearing from the defendant and hearing from the plaintiff, hearing from the red states and the blue states, hearing from, all of these different moving parts and opposing thoughts and oppositions. Like, we should never limit our mental capacity in a point to where we can't hear the opposition. Like, if the opposition ain't never trying to hear you, then I understand, child. If the opposition is always ignoring you and not trying to hear you, then why should you listen to the opposition? But if the opposition is being respectful and listening to you, and that's one of the reasons, like, me and Flame Monroe, like, of course, our views when it comes to our identities are different. But what I respect about Flame is able to hear me and acknowledge that this person has heard me. And I'm able to hear Flame and acknowledge that I have heard them. It doesn't mean that everything that comes out of Flame mouth I think is the holy word. And it doesn't mean that everything that comes out of my mouth Flame thinks is the holy word. It means that we can be cordial and respectful to each other. What I'm almost 50 years old, and I'm in a place in my life where I am trying to see the bigger picture. I am not only trying to think about myself and how things impact me, I'm trying to think about how things impact me and those I love who belong to different communities, or who may belong to my community but has a nuance in the way that they see themselves. Okay? Because breaking ourselves down and dividing ourselves even more so, a lot of y'all who are spewing that rhetoric and going with that rhetoric, you have to realize that we are making this struggle harder for us. We're already a minority within a minority within a fucking minority. So let's not close ourselves off to finding genuine people in other groups. If they are disrespecting you and trying to diminish you, then of course it goes without saying, don't entertain that. Don't surround yourself with that. You should not have to constantly be around here eating feces in order to be heard. You shouldn't have to be around here constantly reducing yourself in order to be heard. That is nowhere near what I am saying. What I am saying is if a person is communicating with you one-on-one respectfully, if a person is communicating with you and engaging with you respectfully, stop getting your feelings about what they say on their platform. Now, again, and this is something that I've learned. This is why now I don't go on Madison Page. I don't go over there. I stay from over there because I already know that some of the things I'm going to hear going to trigger me. But with her, it's the flip-flopping for me. Because 1 minute she talking like this, and then the next minute she's talking like that. With somebody who's consistent, and Flame has been consistent ever since she came on the scene. Now, what I think made it worse, and what I think made it like a double down, what made it like a flip off to the community, was how everybody so quickly jumped on the bandwagon and was ashamed and was condemning and was like, so now that justified all of the things that Flame had been saying and doing, and it gave her permission to be even worse. And I don't think that the community takes any kind of accountability for that. Like, when you wear it's the same thing that we see with Maddie. When you come for her, it's justification for her to be even worse. And the level of like how y'all like how because I honestly think that their views align in a lot of ways. But baby, when I tell y'all, because like it wasn't even 2 weeks ago, somebody sent me a video of Madison in front of the damn camera, um, in a body shaper with her tuck showing. And so many girls in private and little back rooms was like, why is this? What is going? And like people was calling it out, but nobody was saying the name of the person. But everybody was talking about that tuck. Everybody was talking about that tuck. And but let that would have been Flame did that. But the thing is, Flame has never been inconsistent with the narrative. Never been inconsistent with the narrative. Has always been consistent with the narrative. So however you feel, and actually has like when it comes to political things, actually makes a lot of sense. Like the only place that I kind of like struggle with Flame is the gender and stuff. But a lot of things that Flame believes in politically, and a lot of the things that I've heard Flame talk about in the past politically, I really kind of understood. Like it wasn't a big thing for me. It's just the gender stuff. But like I said, some people are believe in that rule of dichotomy. But again, my point is if we can't hear each other and we can't respect each other's opinions, then how are we any different than MAGA? And low key, I feel like it's all MAGA. Everybody who fighting for this dream, everybody who trying to uplift America and practicing patriotism, you really low key don't want it to change because America is rooted in capitalism. You never really see anybody at the forefront of America that's really just around here repping America and just really around here singing America praises in mainstream who don't have a coin. And so they've bought into the capitalism. They've bought into that whole logic. Like all of them, like they also make America the same way it's always been, because America was great because of treating people like slaves. It was great because of the slave trade. It was great because they was able to get all this cheap free labor. They was able to get all this labor where they was barely paying people. And so yeah, that's where America is going back to. If you notice it now, they're setting things in place to where they could really low key lowball people. And when they introduce them robots as competition, oh yeah, they're gonna be able to offer y'all less. Cause baby, y'all gonna be competing with the robots. And it's gonna be like, well, we really don't need you to do it. We really can have the robots doing this. So, there's a law that says we have to give you opportunities. Like, we can't just not let none of y'all work, but this is what we're willing to pay you for your work. Wait till it gets to that point, because that point is coming. When y'all have to start competing with them robots, that's when they're going to really start lowballing y'all, because they're going to be like, we don't really need you to do this job, but we do have a certain quota of people. And I think that would be interesting if that was really the point of DEI was like not to have to hire people. Like that would be the gag if that was what really if that was really once once the robot, you literally just took the words out of my mouth. We said it at the same time. Let me see what's going on in these comments. Oh, y'all have been down. Oh, y'all have been in it. Okay, let me bring the phone closer. Oh, wait. Okay, Anandia said yes. Peace, peace, Miss Kaneen Pooh. Anandia, yes, 100% pure love, peace and light. Hey, 100% pure love. Y'all done not really read the comments. I feel so left behind. I feel embarrassed being around the mother. It's like it's cramping they look and style. They feel embarrassed being around the mother. It's like it's cramping their style. Any signs of individuality during the grooming process will get you shunned and exiled. That's right. Alexander the Great was a Roman punk. But he conquered the known world though. Was a punk. Right. Some of the assimilated into the punkyarchy stripped their identity and allowed the punkyarchy to erase our history, our heritage, our culture, and everything that went along with it, honey. Moving pieces in the chest. I was in the Girls Like Us group a long time ago, and my profile was hacked, and I never could find that group again. The trade be living comfortably in there. Yes, they do. It's a lot of them in there, and it's people like to create their opinion based off the hive mind and label it as truth instead of forming your own individual thought. You better say that. I think some people feel like you jumped ships. I feel like some people feel like you jumped ship just because she said hi on your platform. No shade. She said, I didn't take that as shade because Flamus into my came on my lives multiple times over the years. Like that's not the only time that's not the only time Flame has ever been in my chat. And also, that's not the only time that I've ever acknowledged Flame. Like yesterday. Like, if you go through the records, like, I have publicly apologized to Flame, and that was years ago. So, I may post about Flame occasionally, and we've engaged with each other more than once, more than twice, more than three times. Like, we've engaged with each other on social media several times, and when she supported me, and she really made an effort to say I see you, that was when I felt like, you know what, let me make a post. And it's not about um I just find the language interesting that you always have, Rainbow Cunt, because you was like jumping ship. Jumping what ship? The train ship? The hating on, I'm trying to figure out what ship did I jump, because I'm over here in my own ship. And I've been in my own ship since December of 2017. And it's called LELIMLELUR. Like, literally, at the end of every video, I say it. So I'm trying to figure out what ship did I jump from. I'm trying to figure out what ship did I jump from. Yeah, I don't understand that one. Um, we don't respect elders in community. It's girls judging Flame that have on ice, put their nuts on ice from slinging so much dick. Oh my goodness. That lady said nuts on ice and then illustrated it. A lot of girls not even authentically trans, but judging and condemning Flame make it make sense. Okay, and them be some of the main ones. Some of the main ones saying Flame is not a woman or Flame is not a girl or coming for Flame transition. Like, them bitches will be singing a gospel song pretending that they not even gay in about 5 years. Them bitches have some gospel music playing in the background saying, I love women's, bitch. Trying to get their titties removed and everything. Flame kept her fucking titties and everything. You supposed to be laying on the table trying to get all of it. I see hoes way fishier than Flame. Some of them same hoes be on the. Girl, let me stop. It's like being trans is only accepted and valued for the materialistic value. The construct, these clothes, these wigs, makeup, etc., doesn't make you a woman. Being a woman is something internally. Ashe, they only value transness when you can be of service. When you can benefit. Hey, Fatima. Basically, you need to be a pet to know your place and to be available for abuse. A Kiki girl. A glorified pet bird. Projecting, pressuring, and grooming the girls to be passable to assimilate to white culture as much as possible. But cis women don't always equate to beauty standards and expressions. And, to be clear, having like surgical interventions is not something that is specific to Caucasian or colonial, because our ancestors had been doing that. Like the males were, and this is stuff that I researched before I had my orchiectomy. Our ancestors who were hermaphroditic, intersexed, who were whole, who were two-spirited, who rested in a predominant energy more, were always making sacrifices. Trans masculine beings were removing their breasts and branding their chest. They it was serious. Like these things have always been happening. Like we had males who would make corsets made out of wood and pull them things to make their waist, and they would pull on their chest to elongate their nipples. They would crush their testicles between boulders. Yeah. Yeah. And there was no numbing cream. There was no anesthesia. And I've seen in other countries where like literally they having these surgeries done. And I saw a video years ago of a trans person who had a surgery done in Thailand, and they didn't have the money for anesthesia. They did this shit while they was woke. I think they gave them like a little local shot down there to try to numb it a little bit, but they went in and got their vagina made while they was woke. I saw this about 20 years ago. So, we've been making a way. And it was a spiritual thing because like all of the other beings in community had went through that process and they supported each other. The only sad thing about it was after they would have that surgery, well, I ain't gonna say it was sad because it was cultural for them, but after they had the surgery, child, they'll heal up, and then the next thing you know, they on the block trying to get some money. Selling that noonie pot. Selling that impossible whopper. Cis women have mustaches and don't have to be dolled up all the time. Can look brick as hell and still make it through this punky argument. If you vote, then you're accepting the current regime. That's right, Aaron. The regime we've been in 100 plus years. That's right. Anandia, the amount of deep resentment and misplaced anger a lot of girls have when they regret having all these surgeries to look passable, pressured by butch queens, didn't didn't do it by their own individual choice. The amount of displaced resentment. You better say that Dems have a coin for sure, and they have the most foot soldiers. Child, so you seen the new trans movie that's about to come out on BET, the one that you had sent me, Anandia. Child, they about to have a trans movie, and it's gonna be real interesting. The narrative, you see the narratives that they putting out now, chill, and I think they want to. They really trying to get um trans people who are going to be in positions of power or who are going to be in government. Like if you running for office, this is what you know now. Like trans people who will be running for office in the future, you will not be respected by your pronouns. You will not be seen. You will have to assimilate. If they find out that you are female, you will be called she and ma'am. You will be called miss and ma'am. So, y'all thinking that y'all about to change something when they're really showing you how it's gonna go. If you were born male, you're gonna be called he and mister. And so y'all still wanna be politicians? That's still what y'all wanna do? Y'all still wanna be a part of a society that does not respect your personhood, does not respect you as an individual, and is using you to paint a image of trans people as spineless, but do carry on. If they galvanize and get millions for Camaro Harris, cameo Harris. Oh, you remember that? In less than 73 hours through donations, they've got the coin. Hence they hence why the T comes in last, LGBT. Child, they'll get mad at you for not saying all them other letters that go after that non-deal. You got to acknowledge all them other the alphabet people. Casting your vote, your light, your soul to be binded into this regimen. It is the most simple form of witchcraft and acceptance to slavery from the Negro ancestors of this realm. You better say that all the way from the UK. Casting your vote, your light, your soul is the most simple form of witchcraft and acceptance to slavery from the Negro, the creators of this realm. When we submit to something that we know is beneath us, because it is, shall we prove that we want to keep degenerating. We're not ready. Like we always talk about, oh, we're the gods and we're this and we're that, and bitch, child, this melanin is deteriorating because a lot of us is entertaining foolishness. And I'm getting to the point of, as I get older, um it's innately in me to be a guide, a leader, a teacher, whatever language you want to use to describe who I am. But I'm just in a point to right now where, you know, I'm more so like observing and speaking on the things that I observe And you know, in my next incarnation, I'm not really like a person who necessarily needs to have like authority or dictatorship over a large group of people. Like, I really honestly would like to, you know, exist in a reality where it's okay just to be. You know, it's okay just to observe and to inspire, you know, not to monitor, not to monitor, you know, definitely to engage, but not to always feel like it's your duty to save someone. Like, that's the thing that I don't like about colonization and living in this reality, is that from the black side to the white side, it's always this idea that I need to be trying to save somebody, or I need to be trying to um uh, uh everybody needs like some type of help, some, you know, some, like some things people are meant to go through. Like, people are not going to grow, and they're not going to be able to become the version of themselves that is going to be strong enough to endure some of the pitfalls and things that may happen if you're always coddling people. And so I'm not saying ignore people and not to and act like they don't exist, and treat them like you don't give a F about them. But I am saying that I do think that society has, we've all been polluted by this savior complex. Like, oh, we gotta save them, we gotta help them, you know, and that's the government thinks that they coming in and they saving people and helping people by by you know, colonizing their society and giving them the Christian religion. Like, I'm just, you know, like when I think about, you know, how I want to reincarnate, I don't want to be like a type of person that really just, like the type of being that is just somewhere around here just always feeling like I gotta be, you know, Batman or Wonder Woman or Superman, or we save the world, we gotta save the world. Sometimes you gotta know when to let it go. Oh, we saved the world. You saved your version of the world. You saved the version of the world that benefits you. Like, let's are we gonna talk about that? Like, you didn't save the planet. You saved, like, there's a difference between saving the earth, healing the earth, healing the planet, and saving the world. The world is capitalism, it's fascism, it's greed, it's elitism, it's discrimination, it's racism. You're saving all that. Saving the earth, saving the planet, is when you're considering nature and you're considering all the working parts. You know, so, you know, then there's that. Gay men that transition for trophies and aesthetics gag when they realize it's more to life than being pretty and available for $60 dates. It's a very masculine way of thinking. I want to read that again. Gay men that transition for trophies and aesthetics gag when they realize it's more to life than being pretty and available for $60 dates. It's a very masculine way of thinking. But I digress. Based on consensus, all manipulate tactics to play with our emotions. All manipulation tactics to play with our emotions. Democrats and Republicans are two sides of the same coins. I call them Democrats and Republicans. Yeah, Democrats and Democrats and Republicans are having one big orgy. Oops. MAGA, Meta, Apple, Google, Amazon. Bitch, I feel like that's so Raven. It's the future I could see, so mysterious to me. Yeah. MAGA, Meta, Apple, Google, Amazon. Bitch, that's the tag for today. Girl, that lady said MAGA, Meta, Apple, Google, Amazon. Okay, Fatima, the devil is a liar, but also tells the truth. That is so true, Aaron. Them facts, he dilutes it, scrambles it. The whole truth at that point is barely 3%. MAGA is like spam tacos, ridiculously unnecessary and unhealthy. Not a spam taco 100% pure love. These slow halflings feel like being degraded and humiliation is their only way to success. You better say that. Just, not just like Arby's and idea. T.S. Trump. Mm. So who do you feel like is giving T.S. Trump? Do you feel like the 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 president's wife over there in France is giving T.S. Trump? Cause girl, the tea that they saying allegedly. Are we supposed to forget Madison was a porn actor? She used to fuck fans in her basement that paid her. She will go along to get along and do anything with anybody for $1. Wait a minute. Now, do I have to say allegedly she used to fuck fans in her basement? Because is that true? Should I say allegedly? She allegedly fucked fans in her basement that paid her, or is this common knowledge? It's too much Pied Piper activity going on. I have no respect for people that profit off of the destruction in private and try to act like a savior in public. Mm. She'll always do something strange for a piece of change. Oh my God, it's God today. Always Coca-Cola. Oh my goodness. We see each other. DEI is why the trans can't make money because you got halflings cosplaying as trans for cheap. And this is the interesting thing about like the whole making money thing. Like we gotta, I hate to say it, but the sex industry um is the oldest profession. And sexism, like prostitution, um being treated the way that it's treated, illegal in most states. it really controls the way that the people who practice it are able to access power, because a lot of times they have to align themselves with some type of organization, some type of pimp who can then um, launder the money or clean the money. They have to tie themselves to the patriarchy in some way. And so prostitution, although it is a way to survive, it is a downfall in the fact that it is, at the end of the day, it's demonized by the patriarch. So if you're an open prostitute, you could have legal matters coming at you, legal situations coming up for you because it's not legal in a lot of places. And you can have your assets frozen if it's revealed that you're making too much money. Like it's just the way that prostitution is handled in the states. um it's done intentionally, to keep, the beings who practice it most, which are most times, of the feminine persuasion. At least that's what they tell us. um yeah, it keeps them from really being able to capitalize to their full potential. So, the way that prostitution works as is in America, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it, because you end up being, indoctrinated through your line of work, having to deal with all these men customers, having to deal with all these, these men, these DL clientele. No girl could tell me who's done sex work for 15 years, 20 years, that dealing with a certain amount of DL men every day, or every other day, depending on what your schedule is doing sex work. You have not internalized those those ideologies and those emotions, and how this DL person views itself. You can't tell me that you escaped all of that, like, you can't do that work and escape all of that, having to deal with such a high volume of men, and having to deal with them um in a way that maintains patriarchy, in a way that demonizes your profession or alienates your profession. That you're internalizing it. You have to be internalizing it, and that's why the work has not been done by sex workers to protect sex work, to protect sex workers. Like, that's why it's not been successful with doing that work. Also, they want to make that Bitcoin and that Dogecoin stick. And I just think that the problem with the Bitcoin and the Dogecoin, like, to make a cyber coin stick, you're going to have to legalize prostitution and drugs. Because as long as people need to buy ass, coochie, and drugs, people gonna need paper dollars. Tell me when I'm lying. Stop me when I'm lying. As long as people need to buy ass, coochie, dick, and drugs, we gonna need some paper dollars. You ain't gonna be able to do that cyber thing until you legalize drugs, booty hole, coochie, and dick. That's just the bottom line. That's just the bottom line. Pennies on the dollar. For cheap, the audacity. If one bitch gets grape juice, the rest of us get shit water. It's not liberation, and I don't support that. You better say that. Mm-hmm. Motherfuckers obsessed. I thought you said motherfuckers obsessed with the short end of the stick. Rainbow, Aaron said. Rainbow said some people when it's just you. It's it's you who said it. Let's just go ahead and keep it a beam, bitch. 5 years. I ain't gay no more. Talking about I been delivered. Okay. This bitch is claiming to be trans with boy nipples. Trying to cover life. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. Fatima say, Mother, I clocked that shade from one of your lives 3 years back when the detransitioner, who is now Shebrew, his real light, came into the chat talking about Shalom, my brother. I pray for you. I remember that too. I remember that too. That bitch said, and I remember that bitch. I was cool with that bitch. That bitch said, that bitch said, Shalom, my brother. Bitch, I don't get mad at it. Like, I be laughing at them. Now, when they do it too much, like, that's how I am with people now. When I was watching Candace Owens, and Candace Owens was, and my religious sensibilities, because Jesus, and I believe, and Christian sensibilities, and like I'm laughing at the toxicity of it all because I could really like see it as a strategy and understand the chess game and see the game being played. And so like I like remember when the person came in the chat, I laughed at it then. But I was like, Shalom, my brother. Bitch. That motherfucker said Shalom, my bro. I really could cackle about it now. It wasn't as funny back then, but I really could cackle about it now. That motherfucker said Shalom, my brother. I will never forget that one. 9, divine. Your shades are so Yui. Come on, dragon. She brew his real lights. I thought it was Hebrew bottom lights. Bottomites. Oh, wow. Nunu pie. Impossible Whopper with extra cheese, please. There are even photos from the 1800s of the eunuchs and enslaved treasonous Moors getting that surgery. It's online and free for anyone to Google, yet the collective amnesia continues to act Brand new. What? There are photos from the 1800s of the eunuchs and enslaved treasonous Moors getting the surgery. It's all online for free for anyone to Google, yet the collective amnesia continues to. Now, see, maybe they showing that over there in the UK. What are the key words that you put in? What's the key words that you put in? Because I was low. Bitch, the 1800? I gotta go look at that before they try to get rid of it, too. Trans women characters. They base the story. The story off of a whole BQ. Base the whole story off of a BQ in a wig. Throw BET away. Just throw the whole network away. But wait a minute. Leave Family Business New Orleans. Cause I like watching that. Shade is trans people in public office have been getting disrespected publicly and privately. The ones that's getting picked are whitewashed, weak, and cowardly. Mmm. Mm-hmm. God's where majority of these halflings are parasites, delusional, and the butt end of the joke. Talking about their gods, shaking my fucking head. I know that's right. The superhero captain save a whole complex is very promoted. And at this point, I talked about this on my live. Like, black people, we have evolved from being the help. They've gotten another demographic of people to be the help. We're not the help anymore. We're the entertainment. Bitch, we do the halftime shows. We're around here singing country. Baby, we breaking into all the genres, honey. We're gonna be your Captain America. We gonna be your comedians. Like, we have graduated in this reality. Black people are now the entertainment. Bitch, we even if Kamala, who was the black stand-in, the closest thing to black, if she would have got elected, she was definitely gonna be the entertainment. Because baby, you always saw Kamala somewhere catching a beat, somewhere dancing, throwing a party, baby. Even the president was gonna be your entertainment, honey. But we have graduated to the entertainment, baby. We's no longer the helps, just the helps. We still the help, but baby, we's the entertainment too. So congratulations, this Black History Month, baby. And like I said in my story, I know our ancestors looking at us just like that woman looked at Justice and Poetic Justice and said, "Oh, I see now we're scraping the bottom of the pudding cup, huh?" But yeah, I got a play that I want to do, and I don't want to write a grant for the play. So I know if I put out a GoFundMe, I'm probably not gonna make no money because motherfuckers don't like supporting my GoFundMe's. But what I am gonna do anyway, because I do want to do the play, I'm going to put the GoFundMe out there, and I'm gonna word it, and I'm gonna put it out there because I want to tell my first Laylim story. Like, I want to do like a little short film. Maybe not nothing too big, like not like no hour or maybe like 30 minutes or maybe like 45 minutes. Like I don't want it to be super long, but I want it to be shot in New Orleans. New Orleans. New Orleans. I wanted to be shot there. I wanted to have elements of sex work, but I also wanted to talk about Laylim, Layler, and wholeness. I've already written the script, so I really want to see it happen. So I think I want to start trying to fundraise to do that because I think being able to see something visually in this reality will really, really help to get the message out there. So that's something that I like. I don't want to overwhelm myself by trying to do like a huge production, but I do want to do a little short film. Um, And it really came back to me last night when I was looking at poetic justice. I was like, yes, 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 because this is that first step to manifesting a whole being, like to start to manifest whole beings. Like we have to see their characters in short clips and how they are and what they look like and what they have the potential to look like, because they can look like anything, but what they have the potential to look like, and like to really like write a script in the language. Like I want to challenge myself this year to do that, like to begin that work. And maybe, it may not be able to be released until 2026, the end of the year, because I'm not gonna try to rush it. But yeah, that's something that I definitely want to do. And like I have so much of a soundtrack now. Like I really want to do it. I'm excited. But anyway, yeah. Yeah, they gonna give us Captain America jail, and Captain America, they gonna throw us that bone, girl. Why would you make us the, like, okay, these gonna be your dying soldiers, Captain America, your soul dyer. You want to make him the face of the soul dyers, trying to hold on to this system that is that's taking rights, taking away people's opportunity. Like you want to make Captain America black. Yeah, child, y'all play too much. Human de-evolution, disintegrate, degenerate. People need to save themselves. It's girls like Angelica Ross looking for work, but BET will cast a homosexual with a wig on to pretend to be a trainee. You better say that. Black people are threatened by anyone they can't clock off the rip. So mediocre and limited. You better say that. It's rooted in distraction away from doing the inner work and saving other people from their lessons and karma, and end up getting burnt out at the end. You better say that. Mm-hmm. I Fatima said, I have long come to the conclusion that this reality we call home is hell. Whew. I can't stand a Captain Save a whole ass bitch. Like, okay, yeah, sacrificial lamb, people pleasing, right, Fatima? Pretty pretty hell with a Gucci belt. You better say that. Right on, Fatima. Maddie is giving TS Trump. Oh, hey, Kylie B. Anandia said how the punkyarchy demonize it, but be heavenly a part of it expeditiously. Right, we'll sit up here because, baby, they want to make sure that it's only the hidden hand, the deep state, the shadow government that can have the punkyarchy. That's what they say. They say androgyny is an art that is reserved for the wealthy. Because the wealthy don't get shaded for doing androgyny. Poor people. And you really got to clock that T. You got to clock it, because when wealthy people do androgyny, how does that impact them? How does it change their lives? T.S. Madison has said, I could have voted for Trump because what affects y'all is not going to affect me. Clearly, what affects us is not going to affect the Caitlyn Jenner. And so androgyny is supposed to just be reserved for the wealthy. RuPaul ain't worried about who the president of the United States, because RuPaul got money, got a nasty coin. So if you are wealthy and androgynous, then what does those laws matter to you? Because you don't even have to share space with these people. You could literally create your own community, your own village of people who go your own network, your own community of people. And I don't know if T.S. Madison got them type of coins, but RuPaul definitely have enough coin to create their own community. I mean, they've done it through Drag Race. Like Oprah Winfrey, and allegedly they say, but she can create her own culture, her own community. Tyler Perry have enough coins to create his own culture and his own community. And so when you have the type of resources where you literally can, decide what space you want to be in, I think that Caitlyn Jenner definitely have enough coin. But Caitlyn Jenner don't mind being around, the toxic patriarchy. Like Caitlyn Jenner don't mind that, which is why they always gonna keep, throwing a few more breadcrumbs in Caitlyn pocket. Caitlyn gonna always come out big, cause Caitlyn is gonna just be so grateful to be at the tables and to be able to wear wigs and dresses and to be able to just, live in my cross dressing and my what is it, anophilia, how we say it, to be able to just, just celebrate my condition in society, to be able to celebrate it and to be respected, you feel me, you understand me, to be able to be this, to be able to be weird in public, just to be able to, and then say I'm trans. Yeah, auto genephiliac. Yes, 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 yes. It's gay men with good jobs that cosplay as trans so they could be sissies that do cheap sex work because it's a kink for them. They get to go back to being gay and trans and deal with, and yeah, they get to go back to being gay and trans people deal with the fallout. You better say that. They put on them wigs at nights. Put on them wigs at nights. At nights. Put on the wigs at nights. And then by day, they don't like the wigs. They don't want to be seen in them. Don't put them nowhere near the wigs. We don't do that. But at nights, we's gonna wear it. We's gonna put it on. And gets our booty cheeks played in, get pound town, and hit the cookies, round back of town. And then we gonna go back to being menses. And trans folks, you deal with that, because we's back menses, upholding the patriarchy, back in our rightful place. Mm-hmm. Them gay punks are autogenephiliacs. Cigarette money. Cigarette money. Do it for cigarette money. 100% pure love. Put a cigarette in the chat. MAGA also means witch sorcerer. Did y'all see the BHM thing he held recently? And Tiger Woods was there shucking. Oh, I'ma need that. I'ma need you to Instagram me that. Not Tiger Woods was shucking. Was he shucking corn? I need to see another thumbs up. Was he shucking corn? What was he shucking, Aaron? What was he shucking? Tiger Woods looked like he likes getting dick smacked by white boys. That makes perfect sense. It be the superpower bottoms that say shalom. Hmm. Candace don't know. Candace don't know is she Catholic or Christian. Well, she said she go to mass. They hiding it from the Americans. Nadia say Candace looks like a villain, Gabrielle Union. Leave all the Queen's men in Ruthless hell. All the Queen's men, yes, I've never really got into Ruthless. But I do love all the Queen's men. They be doing a little bit too much with the damn stripping and dicks and it just be a little bit too graphic sometimes. Like, and the dance scenes be too long on stage because I don't live for them niggas like that. I live for Madam Joe. Would you like for me to eat your pussy, madam? Not right now, Tommy. No, Tommy, go find you something to do. Madam, would you like for me to run your bath water? You know I live for all that foolishness. Fatima is right. Remember reading about the eunuchs in school? Fascinating stuff. The surgery was barbaric back then. They sliced off all the roast beef and just left a hole to piss out of. I've heard about that. Search eunuch genital part. Black Raccoon Month. I'm not about to do this with you. All the photos came out even more scroll from 1,000 years ago, detailing conversation, sacrificial surgery. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna search that up too. Cut the beef and nothing with a hole. Low calorie X-Men. They didn't want eunuchs poking the girls, so they cut everything away. Yeah, they didn't want the eunuchs to be able to have sex with the queens and stuff. So they'll get rid of them kibbles and bits, baby. Damn, that's barbaric. RuPaul would only invest his money playing with and entertaining the white punks. Rufus is a snow queen. Rufus is a snow queen. Rufus is a snow queen. Y'all remember Clueless? Rolling with the homie. Rufus is a snow queen. Rufus is a snow queen. Bitch. Bitch, not rolling with the homies, bitch. Rufus is a snow queen. Punks don't mind being a kink a la used and abused and discarded on Tina, cause they to themselves are just niggas to the I like how you did that core whore. Core whore. The core is a whore. The core is a whore. Get your cigarettes lit, baby. Fags. Get you a fag, baby. And light it and smoke it. Right, Fatima. The punks love being used to beat up condoms. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, 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 mm. Tiger is just another stupid Polynesian Negro, aka the last of us to be colonized. To watch him is to watch our recent past of how easy it was to punk these soon to be cattle. Madam is that girl for real. Child, most of them strippers are entertaining punks. It really do. You could see the punky. You could see the punkyarchy. Like, you could see them butch queens. Like, you know they butch queens. Down. Down. Well, child, this has been a 2 hour live. And I was supposed to be getting ready to go in the store. And I thought I was going to be on this live a good 30 minutes to an hour, but y'all always end up getting way more time. But it's because I love you. I will be on the move tomorrow. So I'm glad we got a chance to check in with each other today. This was a good live. We had some good talk, some good conversations. That Tina in sex parties be highly invested by the community's money. That's where a lot of that funding be going. That's where a lot of that grant money be going. Some of the ones that get the highest pay, honey, they be throwing them parties, girl. They be throwing them parties. They be throwing them parties. The punky arky. You better hurry. It's almost 6 p.m. We all love you, great mother. Stay safe and trust no punk. Y'all heard me? Down. Down but now that I say cool, it keeps me to get 30. Iagadi, Iyako, Kalukalo, which means I'm a child of God goddess. If I am, you know you are. Bound and round, both circle and square. We too speak life, so operations beware. Sending healing to those in despair, ill by bosawa, which means we come in peace, no harm to any lelim leler. Make sure you light your candles this evening. Do your work on this Sunday to prepare for the Mormont. Yes, we're preparing for the Mormont tomorrow. Tuesday. Well, tomorrow I may try to no, I'm gonna go ahead and probably do that Tuesday. I'll do the words for the new words for this week. I think we're a week behind, but as long as I'm being consistent. So we're gonna do some words for the week probably on Tuesday. But I'm gonna be on the move tomorrow. Yeah, make sure you light your candles. Thank you for all the purple hearts and everybody who participated in the conversation today, because we really, really, really dug into some things today, with the support of Erin, Anandia, Fatima, 100% pure love. Girl, y'all ran on Rainbow Cut out the chat really, really, really fast. Rainbow Cut dipped in and dipped out. Everybody else was kind of like quiet. Kylie B had spoke up for a minute and said hi, but you know, the ones who always show up, baby. Y'all deliver. It's never a disappointment. We really, really unpack some things. And so, yeah, that was cute. I live for it. I love y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. And I will post something tomorrow, maybe a story or maybe like a post. But I'm not gonna do a live tomorrow unless it's like an emergency. But I'm gonna give myself that little caveat. But other than that, I will be back to do a live on Tuesday, and I'm going to do my get my words of the week, get our words of the week out on Tuesday. Okay. And I think the words of the week this week is gonna be I know Sophia, because we haven't did Sophia in a sentence yet. It's gonna be rainbow. What did we call it? Rainbow, we called it rainbow something. I gotta go and look the words up. They're written down somewhere, but I know it's rainbow sauce or rainbow juice. Rainbow juice. Yeah, rainbow juice. Oh, we did it at the same time. Rainbow juice, white stream, Sophia, and it's two other words. I know I had you send me some words. So definitely know that. But I know those are gonna be the words that I'm gonna focus on this um white stream and rainbow juice, Sophia, and them other two, I can't think of them right now. Oh yeah, Empire Y. Yeah, Empire Y. Empire Y and White Stream. Rainbow Juice, Sophia, and it's another one. We done been coming up with so many words. I think I have it. I think I have it written down somewhere. But that's four. That's definitely four. Yeah, but the fifth one is definitely written down somewhere. Like, I just have to go through some things, but I'm gonna start working on them soon. Working on them Tuesday. Anyway, love y'all. Y'all have a beautiful day. Oh, and a word that I don't know if y'all noticed, but demagnification. Demagnification. All right, I love y'all later. Purple ones, gray ones, LELIMLELURNATION. Rise. Down with the pokey